Oh yeah. And I show up on time.
What's going on, y'all? This is Paranoid Grower. I have a special guest with me today. He is a grow me in the community. He is also a glass blower in the community. I read a quote from John Lubbock today and thought of you that says, "Art is unquestionably one of the purest and highest elements in human happiness. It trains the mind through the eye and the eye through the mind. As the sun colors flowers, so does art color life." Ezachuel, welcome to the show.
That's no better way to open than that.
Right on.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great.
Well, what are we smoking on today, sir?
So I just took a dab of some Super Boof rosin that I picked up last week. That was pretty cool.
Hell yeah, I love that Super Boof. It's good stuff.
Yeah. I took it through my bash glass bubbler, one of my good homies. And I've also got my Puffco Peak. So found this little guy while I was moving. I just couldn't be more excited.
Oh yeah, dude.
So bought a new 3D XL chamber for it, so it makes big boomy clouds.
That's fucking awesome, man.
So yep, I actually just got my grow started back up last week. So that felt very heartwarming to get my hands back in some soil again.
I'm sure it did. It's always a great feeling, especially after you moved.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm smoking on the Bruce Banner number 2. It's a flam cut that Cumin grew. Cumin in the community.
Nice.
Yeah. So
that's cool. I was gonna say if it's flam, I already know, man.
Yeah, flam's got some good stuff for sure.
Shout out to the homie.
Mm-hmm. Well, what'd you get into this weekend?
So this weekend, I was pretty much doing a lot of setup in my shop. We've been kind of reacclimating, moving things from one town to another. I bought a moving van that helped out, but yeah. So this one's got a little bit of a different HVAC flow setup in it. It's got a little bit of a different ventilation requirements than I had in my last shop. So always safety first, you know.
Absolutely.
I always want people to stay alive.
Oh yeah.
So even if that takes you out of the game for a couple of weeks, you know, I think it's worth it to do your due diligence and, you know, set the shop up correctly. We're getting ready to go into winter, so kind of doing some cold protection, stuff like that. I'm very blessed. I'm gonna have an infrared heater running, so
nice.
Even on the worst days, it'll only get down to about 60 in there.
Man, that's really good, actually.
Yeah,
pretty well insulated in there.
Yes. Yep. It was the barn used to belong to a farmer, you know, obviously who was doing servicing on his own combine in there. It was year round.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of, you know, been a point, me moving back out here to the country, kind of going back home, you know, putting my roots down and, you know, going back to my roots, if you will.
Absolutely, man.
Back into the homestead lifestyle, kind of dipping into that culture a little bit. So lots of things to look forward to next year.
Heck yeah. That's awesome, man. Congratulations on getting your new place there.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I'm dabbling into the homesteading myself. That's why I moved out to the country too. So
yeah,
it's a lot to learn, and there's so many different paths that you can take. So that's what I'm having a hard time choosing which path I want to go.
Yep. My ancestors were fermenters.
Oh, were they?
They made a lot of sauerkraut.
Nice.
And probably not like the moonshine that you think I'm talking about. No, they were like fermenting cabbage and stuff. I bet my great grandma could probably do a mean kimchi if she tried.
Oh wow, that's cool. Okay.
I think it's important to practice those kind of things, even if you live in the city. You know, even if you live in the root of the city, you can still, you know, do culture stuff. You can do sourdough bread stuff. You know, I think it's just a good way to practice, you know, doing what we're good at as humans, you know?
Right. Yeah, so I would like to get into that sourdough thing myself.
Oh yeah, yes, scrumptious.
Heck yeah.
So
Well, yeah, I didn't really get into much this weekend. I ended up just been unpacking and organizing myself. I got so much done though. Like I feel a lot better now that I've gone through all this work and gotten this all done. Because I mean, it's just like boxes and totes packed, stacked up everywhere in the house for a long time. And
hmm
going through all that, it's time consuming. So
yep,
def-
I think we're there too. We've got a tote wall that we've got to start getting through, and I think I just keep putting it off by making it look better. I just keep reorganizing it. And
that's
like,
that's
dude,
exactly what I was doing for like the last few weeks. And I was like, no, I just need to like get rid of these things. Like these don't need to be in here.
yep, yep.
So I cleared a whole wall of stuff over the weekend, which was really nice.
Good on you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, before we get into to the topic on this podcast on how we meet, actually, I was wanting to do a show and tell with you
All right.
because I know you make all different kinds of glass pieces, and you said that you'd brought some with you today.
Oh yeah, yep. I got some sitting right here.
All right.
Um, start with the fancies, I guess. This is my favorite one in the case so far. It's a little cob pipe, a collab that I did with Jam Glass out of Silva, North Carolina. You can follow him at Jam Glass Gallery on Instagram. He's doing some really cool stuff with getting some unique colors around, and this was one of those pieces. So up here, this is a new molten aura color called
Wow.
Neptunium. And you can see it featured also in these MIBs there. I did a pretty cool implosion pattern right there. And then this rear piece right here was a piece that was a section that he gave me. Um, it was Egyptian green over chromium, which gives it that kind of matted look, that matted green look. I really like it. So
Yeah, that thing is gorgeous, man.
featured a central wigwag on it. It's got a lot of color changing aspects in it that with use you're going to see this like this area start to color up a little bit. Um thank you, man. This is probably my most technical piece to date. I think you know, obviously it's a little bit on the higher dollar side, so I've been planning on hanging on to it for a little while,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's just one of those that greet you every time you open the case. I think it's pretty cool how it takes so many forms on. Kind of looks like maybe a bird flying, in a couple
Right.
different ways, you know. Or if you grab it right there, a little
Yeah, it does. Oh my goodness.
dude. Like you said, art is transformative.
It
You
is.
know, just a split second, shape shifts.
Yeah. It's so
So
wild.
yeah, man, that marked a day in the summer that I'm probably not going to forget anytime soon, man. He stopped by he did a North American tour. He's from North Carolina, but he planned out like several head shops to stop at and just made a nice little short loop in the north, like New England area. Went up to Maine, kind of came down the coast. Had to have been great fun after he left Central Ohio.
Right.
um, but yeah, dude, that's one of my favorite parts about being a glass blower. I think is just meeting other artists and getting the chance to put collaborative power to work, put collaborative energy down. You'll never get to that kind of stuff is hard to arrange. You know, you
Right.
can't just say you can't just say, hey, let's meet on this time and this day and let's both be in the zone. So so it happened that day, and he's just a good dude to work with. He's a kind dude, very humble. So that's probably my favorite piece so far. And I've got a few of these. I'll tilt the screen down a little bit. Try to come down
Okay.
here so you can see me. I've got
Nice.
a few of these standing Sherlocks. This one's a banger. Let's go back a little bit.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I
So,
can see it better now. Yep.
yeah. So this one featured one of those colors that Jam brought to me. So it's blue by Competitive Glass, and then I put a couple different accenting tones into it that you can kind of see, like doing this little tiger stripe thing as it goes down there.
Dude,
Oh,
that looks so cool, man.
yes. So just some white swirl in the front, classic vortex on the side. See the little horn handle that I'm grabbing onto.
Man.
So yeah, man, I really like this one just because of the soft blue tones in it.
Yeah, I love the color. I like the blue myself.
Yeah, dude. So QVC that again for you.
Yes. Yes, please.
You grew up watching Midwest household television. You know what QVC
I
is.
absolutely know what QVC is. Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's that's always a fun thing to do. Here's another collab with Miss Cass. Boro Florist is her handle at the Boro Florist. If you find her on Instagram, she does these really cool Boro flowers that are just fun to stick on things, And that's another one of those deals. We did this at a collab event over in New York this year. I think we had 15 glass artists
Wow.
all cranking at once, man. At a music festival
Oh
too.
my god, that's so
Firelights
cool.
Music Festival is what that one's called. You should
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
it. Yeah, we've been doing that one for like 5 years, and it started out like just a solid group of like I don't know 6, 7 of us, and it grew and it grew, and we started having bigger artists asking us like, "Hey, man, how do I get involved with this?" And it's like you just show up, man. Like they'll tell us how many people can come, and we'll put you on the list, and you get here and just make art all weekend. It's a good way to kind of increase exposure for some of us, some of the newer people in the community.
Right.
Music festivals have a lot of attraction, and this is kind of just another way to incorporate art into it in an innovative way, in a way that people don't often get to see. So happy to be a part of that. We're called the Melt Mob. That's kind of the fun name that we've bestowed upon ourselves.
That's a great name.
Thanks, man. So we hope it'll gain traction. It's hard to have a band of artists. Such a concept can exist,
Right.
but I think we're about the closest thing to it because when we get together and we do our collabs, man, it's some fun stuff, man. It gets crazy. So here's another fun one I did with my buddy Rhythm. I did this one at Fall Hookahville this year down in Dayton, Ohio. It was just a nice little lazy Sherlock, look good, feel good type of vibe.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
I love the green.
Yes, dude. I'm a green fiend. Like, it's one of my favorite colors, blue and green. Green exists on so many things that I love. Here's another one that's in that same green, but this is a dinosaur. I collabed on this one while I was up in Maine with my friend Brandon. His handle is Amorphous Symphony on Instagram. So I want everyone who's listening to this to follow all my friends. They all make fire art.
They sure do.
So yeah, I mean, that's the kind of energy I live for. Getting together with your friends and collaborating.
Absolutely, man. That's so cool. I certainly appreciate you sharing all that with me.
Dude, no problem, man. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to share my art.
Hell yeah. Well, I actually have some questions for you about the glass blowing, if you wouldn't mind.
Fire away.
How long have you been glass blowing?
So I started blowing glass probably about 4 years ago when one of my buddies that I met at a festival was doing some road work at the time. He was kind of just traveling around, collaborating with other artists, and he wanted to stop at my house and just make a piece. I don't know if he needed to get it done on some deadline stuff, or if he just needed a place to blow glass for a second, but that's how it happened. And I was really intrigued by it. And I'd say about 2 weeks later, he came back and made another piece on the same terms, like, hey, I need to do something. I need to get this done, finish it up. And then I was just hooked, after watching that. My girlfriend tried it out, got into some of the gather compression work that Cece was doing at the time, did some of the flowers that she was making, and she just fell in love. So at that point, I just gave him my credit card. It's like, do what you need to do. Get all the stuff sent over here. Tell me when it's going to get here. But this is going to happen. We're going to make this. We're going to make this work. It was in the middle of COVID too, so I don't know if that's a modifier or not.
Oh,
Everyone.
I'm sure. Yeah, it was a modifier for all kinds of new hobbies.
Everyone was looking for a new game to jump in. So that's kind of where we started at. And glass blowing is a different form of art where it's not common to have circles to run in, I guess. When you get into painting, there's probably a lot more painters out there that you can talk to, bounce things off of. Glass blowers, it's not always like that.
Okay.
We're doing some older stuff. that's kind of a niche thing, I guess. I don't call it a niche talent, but it's not everybody's ball game, for sure. So, but my best friend Jerry Bedore at Rust Belt Glass, I will drop his name. um, he, he let me come over to his shop and basically gave me a make and take class with my girlfriend, and we really enjoyed it. And we were like, "Yeah, dude, this is it. This is what we're gonna do." And yeah, really critical in laying the groundwork, man. Really, just I can't give my friends enough thanks and credit for bringing me to where I'm at. And I tell people all the time that my work is a reflection of my friends' ability to educate me. You know what I mean? And bring me up to their level, and work with me like that. And we get that done at these collaborative events. That's kind of the other half of the energy of wanting to make those things happen is we need a place to get together and do this. Can't get 8 people in a garage blasting torches, packing tanks, you know what I mean, hauling in glass and all the things that entails with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
yeah, it's a celebration of art. It's a means. It's a means to find a way to collab with each other. And the pieces that come out of it are equally special. You see some of the rarest forms of art, I think, come from those kind of situations. When two or three or more people who are really good, a couple that are masterful get together and information starts getting passed around, you know what I mean? A couple secrets get shared, you know. You start to see the barriers fall down a little bit. You realize that there's not such a high barrier to entry to this at all. Like, at the end of the day, we're all just humans with our tricks. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Yep. How much pressure do you use when blowing into glass?
When blowing a glass, I like to tell people it's like blowing a bubble with bubble gum in your mouth. So if you can chew bubble gum down, blow a bubble, that's about how much pressure it takes to accentuate change the form of glass. I think you're really more providing support with your air in most
Okay.
circumstances. Now there are a couple exceptions to the rule. There's a couple times when you want to, really puff onto it a little bit, and there's a couple times where you even, suck on the glass, create negative pressure inside of it. But it's all about changing pressure. And really, I think most glass artists will agree with me. You don't want anything to happen too quickly, you know? And that's where you have control over, how fast do you want to force that air in there, without getting too deep into the physics and, Boyle's law and all this technical stuff. You know what I mean? At the root of it, you're just packing air into a tube.
Okay.
So, you know, we see that manifest as the blowing of a bubble, but there's a lot more, under the surface that's going on,
Right.
you know. So I think that's why I love glass so much. It's just kind of the limitless chemistry behind it, and its ability to adapt and be amorphous and in so many situations, but have the permanence, and the remarkability and brilliance that glass has, through all those amorphous changes.
Yeah, it's
So,
pretty wild to see.
yeah.
What kind of glass do you use?
Borosilicate. These borosilicate glass, 30 COE or 33 COE.
Okay.
So,
And which temperature ranges are you dealing with when you're making these pieces?
so that's where we dip into a little bit of the flame chemistry. So I want to say around 900. Let's go down to 400. Okay, 400 degrees is, I would say, is the final like annealing temperature of glass. But 900 degrees, it becomes kind of safe to change the temperature in some regions of it. Um, but at 1050 degrees is what most glass artists are going to say is a garaging temp. And my kiln runs at 1050. That's kind of the neutral line in this flame chemistry equation. So at 1300, 1400, the glass will start to change. The glass will start to get a little more malleable. 1500, we start to get into fusing temperatures. On up to about 2000 degrees where it'll hold into a liquid puddle. So, um, playing with the glass and keeping it in between those temperature ranges are where this kind of gets into the game of art, as I like to call it, flame
Right.
chemistry. I like to say that glass has three temperature ranges that it can exist in, or it can perform in. There's the A range, where the glass is too cold to be manipulated or move on its own. And there's the B range, where we've heated it up to where we can manipulate the glass. If I blow into it, it'll get round. If I push on it, it'll smush. All right. And we go on up even higher to the C range, which is soup. The glass will just.
Oh, yeah.
So, being an artist, you kind of learn how to manipulate glass and kind of keep it between those ranges and kind of exist between enter B and C and enter A and B to affect your effects, and then we get into the use of silver and precious metals that requires, oxygen and keeping metal in an oxide state, to bond it with the glass. So it's like I said, the chemistry here is truly limitless. The sky is the limit, in terms of chemistry and what can be done with borosilicate glass.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to see. I mean, I'm blown away every time I watch the videos online, people making glass pieces. Um, how do you actually add the color to the glass?
So colors added to glass through the use of metal oxide powders. That's what you see in a lot of mixing, a lot of where we're pulling colors. Um, so you'll take a crucible, you'll melt your borosilicate down in there, and then I don't know what the specifics beyond that are as far as what metal oxides do what, but I can tell you that it's the addition of metal oxide powders in that crucible, mixing them up, and the reactions of the heat within that a lot of these colors come from,
Okay.
essentially. All right. And then from there, they pull rods out of that crucible. They dip it and they just pull big string glass. You know, I'm heavily paraphrasing this. So it's out in North Star or Tag or anyone sees it. You know what I mean? I'm just a Joe here. But then they snip that down into user size rods that are about, a foot and a half long,
Okay.
about 7 to 9 millimeters in width. And that's what they'll sell me is I'll go and I'll buy, a 1 pound bundle of rods, you
Okay.
know, and some of these blends have silver in them. Again, silver and gold do different things when we add them into the matrix. So, um, yeah, from there, it's learn your effects. When you add oxygen into these colors that have silver and gold, you're going to get the effects of oxidized metal on your glass blended with that color. So, again, depending on which oxides were used to make those colors, when you add silver in there, you can get some weird effects. Chemistry is going to happen, and it is limitless
Oh,
in
yeah.
this medium. So, I think that's what keeps pulling us all back. It's what keeps bringing a lot of us back is just kind of, you know, we as humans like to know things. We like to figure things out, and we like to incorporate them into our tricks. So I think
Okay.
it's much like growing,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
chemistry the other way.
Right. What type of safety equipment do you use?
Not much.
Really?
No, I mainly protect my eyes the hardest.
Right.
Yep. And I think that's kind of one of the more expensive pieces of safety equipment that a lot of glass blowers invest in is their didymium filter lenses that
Okay.
they wear. So didymium is a combination of, again, two metal oxides, praseodymium and neodymium, rare earth metals. And that will, what that does is that filters out yellow light. So when you see the glass blowers with those classic purple lenses, that's what that purple is doing is it's canceling out that yellow that when you're on the outside and you see us blowing, it's just this big yellow streak coming off of our torch. And you think, gosh, how could you look at that for more than a couple seconds?
Right.
That's the key, you know?
Wow. That's so cool that they figured that out.
Yep. And then, after that, a lot of us are going to tell you ventilation because when you're working with metal oxides and precious metals and glass, you're dealing with, things like fume and gas off. So, doing that, in a backyard shed, with no ventilation may present serious complications more sooner than anticipated in your life.
Oh, seriously, yeah.
So, yeah, we a lot of us, the smarter ones, take ventilation very seriously.
Heck yeah.
So it's my spiel on safety. Aside from that, man, I always tell people if you drop something, don't try to catch it. you know,
Right.
even if you put 40 hours in it, that sucks. You should have had something underneath of it to catch it.
Right.
So,
Heck,
um, yeah.
well, I don't know if you have anything else to share on the class. We can move on to the next topic.
I mean, I love it. It's what keeps me going.
Heck yeah, man.
You should try it sometime.
Yeah, honestly, I would love to try it. My sister has made Christmas ornaments before.
Okay.
Doing the glass blowing, and I thought that was such a cool thing. I know they have classes in Nashville, but honestly, I would rather be doing a class with you, or along somebody with along your friend group,
Yeah.
um, just because I'd be wanting to make pipes and stuff, not necessarily a glass or a Christmas ornament, but
Yeah.
you know,
Next time you're in the area, give me a buzz.
yeah, we'll do, man.
Yeah.
Well, the reasons why we meet up on this podcast is the meetups and events that going around town and all that. But you and I actually met up at Flams. I was traveling back to Tennessee, and I'd reached out to Flam and was like, "Hey, man, I'm going to be coming through. Is it, can you hang out?" And he said, "Yeah." So, and luckily, you and your fiance were there.
Yeah.
So it was really cool being able to like hang out with you and meet you and your fiance, and actually I got to try one of your pipes, which was really cool.
Oh yeah. I think it's that bubbler, right?
Yeah, it was the bubbler. Yep.
S-
Yeah, that piece is super nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Flam, he, he'd met, he'd mentioned before that you're going to be there and that you were a glass blower and that you do some amazing stuff. And so I was super excited to be able to see all that in person, um, which was really cool. Um, Now you've known Flam for a while, right?
Yeah. So Flam ran up on me while I was vending at I guess we'll call it a farmer's market. It was
Okay,
one of those big fairground events or whatever.
right.
And I was sitting there doing my demo or whatever. I think I was making like a teacup or some shit. And he goes walking by the table, doesn't say anything to me or anything. I just look up and I see somebody walking by with a night owl hat on. I can't validate that. I don't know if he said something to me first or if I said something to him first. But the honest of it was I saw some cat walking by wearing a night owl hat.
Yeah,
And I was like, hey, dude, like, I know what those are. I know who runs that, man. He's a cool dude. He does really good work in the cannabis community. I love his auto flower breeding. And it was just like, oh, shit, Daz? Click. And it's like, yeah, I don't know Daz. You know what I mean? I'm just a fan of his work. But that's
right,
all it takes sometimes between people is to establish a link between, a niche, piece of an industry that we both have our hearts so deeply sank into. And
right,
it's like, holy shit. I just like, I'm doing this right now, but what booth are you at out there? I'm going to come by when I'm done with this. And I did. I went over there and I chatted his ear off. Yeah, his wife was sitting right there. And we just yip, 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 yap, yak, yak, yak. Microgreens, growing, auto flowers, Mansfield. Like, shit, we live close to each other, dude. So, a friendship was born. He came over, I think, the following week and watched me blow some glass. And he was like, holy shit, dude, I want to learn how to do this.
right,
Yeah, dude. I extend that invitation pretty much to all my friends. I'm like, you should all let me teach you how to blow glass because we need more people doing this shit. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, man, that's a priceless story between Flam and I, how he ran up on me and we met each other.
Yeah, Flam's a great guy. I'm so glad. That was actually that meetup that we had, which Matt Fratt and I came to.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I met Flam. So It's really
Oh,
cool that
dang.
yeah,
That's
so I'm yeah, it's really cool that you met him at an event and I met him at there at the house with you, so
the way the world turns, man.
I know it. Um, but, we can go ahead and, talk about your garden. What do you currently have going on in your garden?
So right now I've got 4 from Night Owl. I've got 2 Gamathon, 2 Chemi Powers. And then I have a buddy who lives down in the center part of the state. He gave me some clones for some Candy Fumes, Lemon Party, and White Chocolate. It's a Chocolope hybrid.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Because maybe white something. I don't know. It was white runts, white nightmare. I've played around with a few Sin City strains, so I've touched on a few white nightmare hybrids, a few key lime pie hybrids. Um, I was hunting through some Sin Mint cookies before I moved, but unfortunately, the plants didn't make the move with me. We just came into time constraints and unfortunately had to let them go. But my neighbors were really, really happy.
Oh, I bet they were.
I just gave them all 3-gallon plants, ready to bloom.
Heck
It
yeah.
was September, the middle of, middle of September. Like, here you go, dude. Love them and they'll love you. So, but yeah, man, it made my heart happy to get back into it. Get the tent set back up. Lemon Party was told to me that it's a decent producer, decent dumper. So, we all love a good dump and shake.
Oh,
Shake and
yeah.
so especially yellow leaves though, when I saw this, I guess the clone that he grew out or whatever, he's got a lot of moms, but he's only flowered a few of them. So I went down there to select and I was just selecting off of, flowering moms basically. And the Lemon Party one had really yellow leaves compared to all the other ones. He's feeding them all the same, of course, but it wasn't a sick kind of yellow, it was just
Just yellow pheno.
it's a Lemon Party. So I'm interested to see what happens with that. Obviously, I'm going to keep a close eye on them with the soil slurries. I like to chart my slurries out just to try to keep, as I call it, my throttle. You know, I I have a few different things that I incorporate, and lately I've been using this Grow Green organics powder. Pride Lands is the
Pride Lands, yeah.
Pride Lands is the brand.
Mhm.
But that was recommended by the Nectar for the Gods folks. When I read that they were going out of business at the end of this growing year, they started recommending everybody go over to this Grow Green.
Green Grow, yeah.
Green Grow, yeah,
Yep.
I keep fucking it up. Green Grow,
Yep.
yeah. So I ordered their sample kit and I gave it a shot on a couple of the last set of Daz's plants that I grew. I grew out the Sin City hybrids, the Blue Power Autos,
Mhm.
Blue Power F4, and Deja Blue. And I did one where I just used the Nectar for the Gods liquid nutrients and one where I just used the Green Grow Pride Lands nutrients. And I was quite impressed.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't see too many differences in the end products. You've phenotypical differences, of course. But, in the terms of like the terpene sets, how both plants look, touch, felt, smell, there was not much difference between the two. So I tell you, it stinks. I like that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Love the stank. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Anything that smells like dead birds is probably going to make plants grow well.
Yes. Matter of fact.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And having
Uh,
fun with that.
what type of equipment do you use in your garden?
So I've got I'm intense. I've got a 3x3 and a 4x4. Um, I think they're both Vivo Suns, but I don't think brands matter much between tents. I ain't seen a Gorilla tent around a good minute, but those are always nice ones. I got Mars Hydro lamps in both of them. They're old Mars Hydro lamps. There's nothing crazy going on with my LEDs. One's a TS 1000. The other one is the TS 3000. And then I have a TS 2000L, which is like the tweener, but it's long.
Right.
So it's nice for just, like holding 4 plants between phases or something. If you got ones hanging around a few extra weeks, overstaying on you, you know. I like to run a bumper crop. I feel like that's the best way to kind of exist in Ohio's legal system right now. Is like, okay, if I can have 12 plants between me and my fiance, then we'll do 4 or 4 4. You know what I mean? Just try to have 4 plants coming in, 4 plants coming out, and I think that's enough.
Heck yeah.
Doesn't always happen like that with hybridization. You get some strains that just hang around a little bit longer. Some say they're going to be done in 10 weeks, and they end up finishing in 12 weeks.
Right.
Heck, I got a guy that's texted me pictures of his stuff. It's like, dude, it's been 14 weeks. Is it going to be done? Like, I don't know, man. What do the trichomes look like?
Mhm.
But I'm always team 2 more weeks. If you ask me anytime, I'm just going to be like, no, man, 2 more weeks.
Right. I do the same thing.
Yeah. 2 more weeks, unless that is the sexiest you have ever seen that plant in its life.
Yep. Well, who or what got you started into growing cannabis?
Oh my gosh, man. Man, that's just taking it back a very long time. I think initially it was just the love for the plant. You know, I got into cannabis in my middle 20s. It wasn't something that like I had done heavily as a kid or anything. In college, I experimented a couple times where I'd sneak away at a party and smoke a doobie with my two buddies or whatever, and then get the spins because I was drunk to begin with. But I didn't start taking cannabis education, cannabinoid education seriously until my middle 20s, when we started flirting around, I guess as a state with the idea of medical marijuana. Um, I came from a relatively conservative family. I say conservative politically as well as ideally. Um, there's central Ohio people, we're just kids growing up in the Midwest, quiet towns and stuff. But I think I've always just kind of had a general question everything attitude, you know, and not to like swap my guardian's hat out for a tinfoil hat here, but I've always questioned the government. I've never really thought that they've been whole truth and nothing but the truth with the people as we know it.
Right.
Um, so without diving too far down that loony hole, you know, I was just like, hey man, is this so bad? At the time, I'd smoked cigarettes for like, I don't know, 7, 8 years, from that as a kid, you know. And the few times that I'd smoked weed, it was like, okay, well, I guess it wasn't that bad, compared to, what the detriment that we actively saw behind cigarettes was. Now, me as an older educated stoner knows that it's not exactly as easy to compare tobacco to marijuana like that. It's obviously kind of a farcical for me anyway.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But when I was, I think, in the middle 20s, I started to develop a little bit of leg pain behind my knees. I was a really active athlete as a kid, and it kind of just crossed lines where I noticed that, like, hey, this is actually helping me out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm able to work longer, I'm able to work better. You know what I mean? My mind feels better. You know, and I think that like the desire to find the correct strain for those kind of situations, you have to have your own bingo moment. You know what I mean? You have
Hmm.
to try the right thing. It has to work. Things have to click. You have to be like in the right environment. That's what I tell all the folks that come into my CBD store when, I tell them about my topical cream, man. Say, hey, if you're having like aches and pains and you want cannabinoid relief, start with a topical. Don't just start with a topical. Put it on when you think you need it the most. Put it on right after you get out of the shower. When you're getting comfy and your body starts to go through those changes where it goes into resting mode. You know what I mean? Find the right time. And I think that's universal for most cannabis experiencers. Especially if you're a new cannabis experiencer. Find the correct time. Don't just, whip this out, willy nilly after you get home. Make sure you're comfy. Make sure you don't got nothing to do for the next couple hours, you know. But back on track, finding the right strain, that's why I think I wanted to start growing and hybridizing and kind of exploring, the power of the plant, the power of DNA, the power of nature is what keeps me going back to that. you
Heck
know,
yeah.
limitless chemistry, unlimited science, man. How much how much do you think we've got covered of all that is science and physics as humans to this date with all the technology that we've got? I would be willing to wager that we've only scratched the surface.
Yeah, barely scratch the surface.
Yeah, we ain't even
100%.
underneath the icing of the cake, man.
Right.
You know? So,
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff that's coming out is false information. It's made up, it's not real
right.
on purpose, because people pay to
Yeah,
make it that way. So,
yeah.
what's real?
And I think that exists in all factories of the universe,
Yeah.
in all little corners. I think, the gatekeeping is there, and
Mhm.
money complicates that. It's I think it's a big problem in state weed. I think it's a big problem, in just the way that we do business and call it capitalism. But, getting back to the plant and the hybridization, I think is worth exploring, deeper.
Mhm.
Look at it like tomatoes. We've got all the varieties of tomatoes that we have, and they have all the functions in the world for sauces and burgers and dips, and let's dig deeper into this cannabis. Let's find out what strains are the best for fucking, you know, not only insomnia and sleep and anxiety and depression and I hurt and all this stuff, but let's get into finding out which ones work best in RSO. Let's get into finding out which ones work best in medical applications. Like, really start to crack the code here. And I think with the proliferation of legal systems, we're going to see that, but we first got to like hustle our way around the hustle of it. You know, Ohio just passed that Senate Bill 56. It was like 87-5. Yes, and that's great, man. But it just threw a big curveball at the hemp industry. I think they were successful in using the prevention of kids acquiring hemp products. They were successful in using that to shut down a lot of family owned businesses and doing this. Now we're looking at having to register as a hemp dispensary, which I'm cool with, but the $10,000 a year sucks.
Yep.
You
It's
know
just a money-making scheme.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, if you want to know why the black market exists, period,
That
it's because of that.
that's why, yeah.
You know, so if you're going to purport that these legal systems exist to call the black market, then you should probably follow through with that and not support the black market. But I digress.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, will you please share your experience with your first successful cannabis grow?
fun fact: I've never grown anywhere than an upstairs apartment, and it sucks. You just do the fuck. You're the freaking most when you're growing upstairs. You know what I mean? The humidity's against you.
Yep.
Environment's always a fight. You're pushing 3 grow tents in an old kid's bedroom. So I'm finally in a basement. You know, things are a lot easier down here. But the first time I truly succeeded was when I got a hold of my environment, when I started to understand how VPD affected things, when I started to understand how pH affected things, and when I started to understand what pH was. To a lot of people, pH is just a number, you know, but actually understanding the potential of hydrogen and how that affects redox chemistry within the plant, that's where things started to turn up for me a little bit. So, and now, we just got city water installed at my house. Like we're installing it as we speak.
Heck yeah.
So I'm really hyped about my new water profile coming in. It's going to be way lower. Like currently, I'm sitting around like 300 TDS, which isn't hateful for well. We have it actively softened, but just again, man, to not have to be doing the absolute freaking most to grow something that just wants to come out of the ground and live, you
For
know?
sure. Uh,
So
do you have a preference for autoflowers or photo periods like
photo
feminized
periods,
regs? Photo periods?
absolutely photo periods. I am convincing myself every day to love auto flowers more, but I'm a photo period guy. Um, I think autoflower. I'm not gonna dog it. Autoflower is the artisanal corner of cannabis, where not only have you perfected the genetics, but you've perfected the sequence of genetics. You've got it on its own frequency. And I think I've never bred autoflowers. Flam could talk way deeper into this than I can,
Hmm.
but it's just something that I don't want to have to worry about. I'd rather focus on things like phenotype selection based on resin production, cannabinoid readout, your cannabinoid count, terpene count. I'd hate that's a sacrifice of plant because it's got all those qualifications, but it's not an autoflower.
Right.
So my strain just doesn't look like that, I guess. But I have love for them. Like I said, I'm growing 4 or 5 of Daz's plants right now. I thought one failed, so I put another one in there and they both sprouted. So I had to like shoehorn dig one out.
Hmm.
It's fine, but not what you want to have to do with an autoflower because again, they're temperamental sometimes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
Oh, do you mainly just grow feminized or you mainly regs?
I do. I grow feminized mainly because I'm restricted to a couple tents. If I had a whole room that I could play around in, the light coverage was good, then yeah, I would grow a lot more regs. I probably would go the extra mile to have genetic testing done, to identify it early and then, track qualities from there. But most of the time I just grow fems because if anything, if I find a keeper, I can clone it, re-veg it, keep it around for a while as I have done with a couple strains, you know.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, mainly.
What is the most important lesson that you've learned during your cannabis journey?
My cannabis journey. Or are we talking about gardening here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Most important lesson I've learned is that you can very easily human the plant to death, and you should just not do that. You can just human that thing right back on into the dirt, and I think everybody, you probably understand what I mean, trying to just add too much of this, think that this is the solution, that what do they call it? CalMag. CalMag's a big culprit. That's another thing where understanding your pH can maybe avert those issues before they even manifest themselves in your garden. But
Right. Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's excellent advice right there.
Flam and I have had our discussions on on kind of our differences in how we grow. How I'm analytical and I like to track numbers, where he's just kind of a set and forget it kind of guy. And I'll tell you that that's my throttle. That's just me saying I want to push the plant to its best potential, and to do that, I need to do this without humaning it to death. So
Heck yeah.
yeah,
Well, this is the last question before the hot seat. What advice would you give to an inspiring cannabis grower who is looking to start their own garden?
start small. Start with one plant and really get to know that thing. Get to know how it responds. Uh, get to know how it asks for food. It's just like a pet. Your cat or your dog has its individual cues that it's going to let you know when it needs that bowl filled up. You're its only source of food. So your plant is no different. It's going to have indicators. It's going to tell you when you've given it too much food. It's going to have indicators that tells you when you've given it too little food, the wrong kind of food, wrong temperature of food. They can be touchy, but so can we all. I think it's a relationship that you build. And if you have aspirations of ever managing a large garden, then, that's a relationship that you're going to have to build with an awful lot of plants very quick, that may have different demands. And that can get overwhelming really fast for a new grower, especially a fervent grower that's willing to take on challenges and willing to try to add corrective measures where they're needed. So grow one plant and take the time to learn what corrective measures are and what corrective measures are needed.
All right. That's excellent advice, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Well, are you ready for the hot seat?
Hot seat. Yeah, let's go.
All right, buddy. Which band or artist did you see for your first concert and venue?
Oh, okay. The venue I think was the Columbus Clippers Stadium. It was the old stadium in Columbus, and it was Garth Brooks. I was
Oh,
like 8 years old.
that's awesome.
Yeah, my parents took me. It was a good old time, man. It was right after he released, I think. Oh crap, I can't remember what the title of the album name was. It might have been self-titled, but it was the one with his face on it, and the red, white, and blue stripes, black
Okay.
back. Had Friends in Low Places on it.
All right. Yeah.
It was when that song first dropped.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a pretty solid album back in the day. So
Yeah.
yeah. Hell yeah. That's awesome. What was your favorite song when you were 16?
Well, six. That'd be like 2004. I want to say "Pop, Lock, and Drop It."
Pop, Lock, and Drop It.
Yeah,
Who's that?
I can't remember the freaking artist, man. I was in high school.
Oh my
I
god.
drove around an old Chevy Camaro. I had a subwoofer in it, and all I could think about was making that thing go boom.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, dude.
Hell
Try
yeah.
some old Master P tune or something, man.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I did the same thing. But I had a 1976 Mercury Montego. So it was an old ass car
There you
with
go.
with two 12-inch Jensen subwoofers. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, dude. There's only one thing to do when you listen to the radio, and that was bass.
That's right.
God,
Wait.
I would have been a heathen now, man. If dubstep exists, shit.
Oh, good lord.
You see me coming.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. All right. What was the first CD that you purchased?
Oh, let's see. I was about 13 years old. I think it was Stained, Break the Cycle.
Oh, yes. Solid album.
It was that I got like three of them. My mom took me to the freaking CD store up in the mall, and it was like I got like the Gorillas, Alien Ant Farm, and Stains, all their hit albums at the time, man.
Dude, that's great. The next question is do you play any musical instruments?
Oh man, so I played many throughout my life. I was a little bandy when I grew up, man.
Heck yeah.
I was big into the trombone, so I played trumpet up until about like junior year, and then my band director had me learn the trombone, and I was really good at transposing music, sight reading. I went to college for about a year and a half. You know, I could find my way around a piano pretty much, but classic ADD child, dude. I was not built for the university life. I was not built for college, dude. I struggle to sit down and watch a movie.
Right.
I'm way more into music than I am movies for that reason. So
Heck yeah.
So I've tinkered around. I still tinker around a little bit. I own a saxophone, I own a guitar, I own a bass. I got to get the ladder fixed up. Currently, I am participating in my mother's church's handbell choir.
Ooh, that's so cool.
I am.
Oh my god, my grandma did that, and I used to love going and watching her do that.
Yeah, dude.
Oh
They
lord.
had like one piece where they needed like the two bass bells to ring,
Yeah.
giant bells. I'm like, all right, let's do this.
Oh, that is so cool, man.
It is. I
Heck
have
yeah.
fun, and they enjoy seeing me, man. It's all the old ladies that I was involved in the church with a long time ago. Not that I don't go when we have to perform. I'll go down there. But I'm just so active anymore that it's just generally hard for me to make Sunday service.
Right.
So
Heck yeah. All right. Have you met a musical artist or band in person? This could be at a meet and greet or out in the wild.
oh gosh, yeah, all the time, man. I do a lot of music festivals.
Oh
So
yeah.
sometimes they stop by, announced and unannounced. Sometimes I recognize them, sometimes I don't. I was doing Firelights last year, and I looked up, and Josh from Sun Squabby was standing right in front of me, and I knew him because I was listening to like their latest album at the time a lot, and it was like Spotify will show the picture on like your TV or whatever.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh shit, yeah, you've been on my TV the past 38 days. I know you. Um, but yeah, man, I hang out in my buddies' merch booths a lot, and they'll swing through. Obviously, when artists come through and they play a stop, they'll like to go check out the vendors real quick before they hop on the bus and take off sometimes. So, you know,
Heck yeah.
Yeah, sometimes the way festivals are built, you're just positioned so that they walk by, like, on their way to the catering or whatever, they walk through like the back of the merch row or whatever.
Yeah.
Those things are all just gatherings of people that are all built the same.
Right. Absolutely.
So
What's the most surprising opener you've ever seen perform live?
the most surprising opener I've ever seen perform live. That's a toughie, but I was at a Rob Zombie show. I think it was like 2012. It was like 13 years ago,
Okay.
and he had a ska band open up for him. It was
Ooh,
like the Necromantics, I think, is what it was.
okay.
Yeah, dude is playing like a coffin bass and everything. It was really good. They were really tight. It was a surprise. Um, We'll take it right back to this weekend, man. It's a Central Ohio band. I'll give them a shout out. The Mighty Troubadours, at the Mighty Troubs on Instagram. I was pouring whiskey at an event this weekend. My buddy owns a distillery that I help out with, and we were doing like this whiskey festival where people just go around and like they'll give you a ticket and you pour a little cup, they taste their whiskey or whatever. Each distillery brings a couple offerings, and the band that they had playing all day was a classic bluegrass outfit. These Mighty Troubadours guys, and they were tight, man.
Ooh,
It's
that
like,
sounds like fun.
yeah, great
Oh,
classic
yeah.
bluegrass. I did not expect it to be that good, and it was fantastic.
Heck yeah.
So, yeah, years past, they just had like a DJ or something. So I thought like, oh, they're gonna do this for a little while, then probably like go move on to somebody else. No, they were there all day and they laid it down.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, they weren't opening for anybody. It was their show, but
Right. Well, that's still cool. I'm glad you shared that with me. I had to check them
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Which band or artist has been your favorite to see perform live in the venue?
I've been around to a lot of shows. I think the one that probably takes the cake. Oh man, this is just so many to think on. I am gonna say Pearl Jam at Bonnaroo.
What?
Probably took the cake on that one.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. Pearl Jam at Bonnaroo. It was like I think 2016.
Okay.
2016. Yeah, man. Pearl Jam was there. They covered Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd and was joined
Okay.
by Roger Waters for a portion of the song,
Wow.
like at Bonnaroo. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is
Hell
like this is like, I don't know, year 2 or year 3 of Littler Zach just getting going into music festivals and stuff. So of course my head was just
yeah. Right. Oh, for sure. Oh,
so
man, that's really cool that you got to see that.
thanks, man. Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
All right. If you could make your own music festival lineup, who would be your top 3 headliners? This could be dead or alive, and this is going to be the Ezachuel Music Festival. Give it your best shot, sir.
Let's see my top 3 headliners. Um, well, my boys Land of Panda. Shout out to the local Akron bands. I mean, when we go around to music festivals and we perform, they're often at a lot of the shows that we're at. So we've grown really close to them. Land of Panda and us we're kind of like sister groups, if you will. No, I don't want to say that. We're just buddies that hang around at music festivals. Um, so Land Panda, and let's say that the second one is going to be a legacy act, and I'm going to pick an oldie. I'm going to say Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Ooh, hell
Yeah,
yeah. All right.
I think I can qualify them as a legacy act, as an oldie
Yep.
at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah. Um, and I think I'll close it out with a new contemporary artist who's got the scene right now, man. Billy Strings.
Hell yeah.
You know, that's just great party music, man. Like it's great. It's great get down music. It's great kickback music. It's great background music. Um,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'd definitely say Grateful probably end up buying a ticket to your festival, especially because Billy String's going to be there.
Ah, yeah. I haven't got to see him perform live a lot, but I've got a Nug subscription, so I hear and watch a few shows here and there. I wouldn't say by far is like my favorite artist, but if it was going to be like a festival situation,
Oh, hell yeah.
yeah,
Hell yeah. Man, that's awesome, man. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, man.
All right. Which song instantly hypes you up?
I'm gonna go off the track for this one. It's just one that I recently heard lately that gets my blood moving. It's by Ivy Lab. It's called Orange.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. I haven't heard that one.
It's an EDM track, man, but
Ooh,
it
yeah.
gets you moving in the morning.
Hell yeah. I love some EDM. What's a band or artist that you feel is completely underrated?
Ooh, a band or artist I feel is completely underrated. The Quasi Kings. I'm going to see them next weekend, man.
Ooh, for real.
Yeah, they should have their own tour.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Where
local
where you
boys, Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus. Okay. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
I'll be seeing them up in Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think we're going maybe to the Beachland. No. It's at the Globe Iron.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Hell yeah, dude. It's gonna be awesome.
Yes.
Name a band or artist that you would like to see live.
A band or artist that I would like to see live that I haven't already.
Yep.
Oh man. Well, it's probably going to be someone newer. But I cannot deny his energy. Again, not crazy into his music, but I would like to see Youngblood performance.
Ooh. Hell yeah. That'd be cool.
Man's got some crazy energy.
Yeah. Seriously. That'd be really cool. Hell yeah. Which cultivar would you pair with an album?
With an album,
Yes, sir.
a cultivar.
Yes, sir.
I am going to say my cultivar would be Jack's Cleaner.
Okay.
Yeah, that was an old strain grown by TGA. Sub Cool back when he was doing the thing.
Right.
Um, and I think, gosh, man, so many albums rolling through my head. I want to say like any of the earlier Dick's Picks by the Grateful Dead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was a pretty long series of albums and LPs.
Jeez. Hell yeah, dude. Which song would be your theme song?
What song would be my theme song, man? That's a hard one to think on. Yes, me. It is a hot seat, man. There's a
It
lot of
is.
questions, and it's like, man, I got to think on this. It's like podcast. I don't want to take up 90 minutes of me staring at my screen. Um, yeah, dude. I think we're gonna go with "Brain Stew" by Green Day.
Ooh. Yes. Excellent song, sir. I actually just seen Green Day at Ocean's Calling Music Festival a few weeks ago with Blackwater and Mrs. Blackwater and the Terp Therapist.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that was pretty neat seeing them.
That is really cool.
Hell yeah. All right. This is the new question on the hot seat. What job would you do if you joined the circus?
What job would I do if I joined the circus?
Yeah.
Bro, I blow glass.
It's not a circus, though.
Bench mounted torch and it spits flames. It turns liquid propane and oxygen to fire.
Oh, Lord.
Who cares about the bearded lady, man? Have you seen that?
All right, I'll accept that answer.
I make the joke all the time. That I could literally like sit here and melt the glass and just rip it off all day and just like throw in my little pot all
Right.
day. People be entertained, man. What are you
Okay.
doing? Oh, I'm just cutting the rod.
Oh, Lord.
Oh man, demoing is way more about showcasing your talents.
Heck yeah. If you got bit by a spider, name 3 completely random superpowers you would get.
3 completely random superpowers I would get. Punctuality. Be the first superpower I would get. Because I think I started prepping for this interview about like 13 minutes before.
Right, right.
Let's see. Let's see. My second one. Here's another superpower: the ability to build shit plumb, just automatic.
Oh, yes. Oh
Right?
my god, that would be so
Oh,
great. You would no tools to check, like, boom, it's
yeah,
ready, there it is. You got
yeah.
you're done.
Guys over there with a level, you're just giggling. Oh yeah. And I show up on time. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Let's see.
Yes.
See the
That's
third
great.
the
That's
third
great.
superpower. Let's see. Let's see. The third superpower. Um, let's go with flawless navigation.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
not having to rely on a damn phone or navigation box or anything, not nothing, like,
Yeah,
you just
dude.
you know where you're going, bro.
Well, we can go back in the day, man. We were printing MapQuest sheets off.
Right? I
Always
did
someone would be like, "Turn left here."
right? For real, dude. Those are great. Those are all 3 great super
Yeah.
completely random superpowers. Thank you. That was very good. Thank you, thank you. Um, which terps and or smells are your favorite?
Oh man, I get made fun of for this all the time. I like severely earthy strains to the points where sometimes they're not so pleasant smells, like baby poop weed, fucking toe fungus, bad breath strains. Yeah, man. I like to taste the soil in my weed.
Nice.
You know, I almost like to taste the bacteria in my weed.
Lord.
So yeah, I do. I love dank flavors. You know what I mean? Those complexities. It's like a good glass of Cabernet to me. You know, where it's a dance between your taste buds and your olfactory. You know,
Right, right,
to where it's really a whole palatable experience. You know, and I think seeing beyond those like surface level smells, I'll call them. You know, the fecal smell and stuff, the bad breath smell and stuff, the toe jammy smell and stuff. Underneath of it, once they start to break down into flavor complexities and those molecules start to marry on your palate, things happen.
oh, yeah,
And the rest is up to interpretation between us and our noses. But I think that's what sets connoisseur level, connoisseurism apart from, weed tourists, the people that are just kind of, on the free parking space, you know,
right,
casual users, I guess I'll call that.
alright.
So,
If you could design the best cultivar for yourself, what would be in it and why?
well, it would be a good hash dumper because I like my rosin, you know. A good yielder, it would be you know, I think terpier. You start to see that prevalent in a lot of rosin when you press it. There's like what we would call like chunkier rosin and like greasier rosin. I tend to like the greasier ones, you know. I think short and squatty is always kind of a preferred trait that we all like to see in our gardens, especially if you're growing in a couple tents, you know. Um, and purpling, man. Who doesn't like plants that fall into the nice fall colors? You know,
Right,
shows you a successful translocation of sugars from the leaf into the bud. You're rewarded with those beautiful fall colors in your leaves. I think that's just, it's sure sign of a good time that you've done everything right. Goes back to not humaning the plant to death.
right,
To reward at
absolutely.
the end.
Heck yeah. Do you have a favorite pothead memory?
Favorite pothead memory. Oh man, there's so many of them, dude. So many of them, from walking with old friends to smoking with celebrities and the like, running into artists at festivals. And, I think that we humans do a really good job of linking taste and smell with memory. And I think that cannabis is an excellent lubricant to that whole phenomenon of a situation. You know, I think that's why like strains like cherry pie are such a hit. That we can identify terpene sets and things and complexities to where they're so recognizable that they're almost acquaintable. It sometimes can take us back into our memory, and sometimes, and I like that.
Heck yeah. Have you ever had an experience with cannabis and law enforcement that you're willing to share? No worries if you don't want to share any.
Oh, that's a fun one, man. I mean, I got a couple citation tickets like the rest of them.
Right.
There was an incident where my neighbor was growing. This was back when it was illegal in Ohio to grow. Um, and there was an issue with the wiring in our home. Uh, and it caused some smoke to start rolling out of the front of our building.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we lived in the middle of the city. We lived like on the town square. So it got made kind of a big deal kind of fast.
Mm-hmm.
And they went through all of our house. We were the only two apartments in that unit. So, um, and they took some stuff from me that day. And that day, it may have felt like it was going to be a bigger deal, but fortunately, nothing came from it. They just took my weed, made off with it.
Right.
So that's all the more run-ins I've had with them. I don't like to take just a direct oppositional stance to the police in terms of cannabis. I don't go out there advocating for massive unregulated grows.
Right.
I think that things like, when you grow hundreds of plants in your house, large plants. I'm not talking about a sea of green. I'm talking about, whole basement full of plants behind me. You know, Sometimes you have to do some things to your electric system that might not be so kosher, might present issues to your equipment, to your neighbor's equipment. That's not okay. That's sort of the reason we have things like zoning, is so that, a factory doesn't pop up in the middle of a neighborhood and suck all the power out of everybody's house.
Right.
Everyone else paying their electric bill doesn't deserve to have their power flickering because you wanted to have 400 5-gallon pots in your basement. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, I think that law enforcement's there for things like that. Now going in and kicking the door down on someone, because they've grown to the point where they're able to make it sustainable, and you don't like they're not joining up with the workforce of the community or whatever it is, presenting political motives for entering people's homes. I don't like that. That's where I draw the line with them. And I think that most law enforcement agencies will tell you that that's not their motivating factor, that they're there for the good of the community like everyone else. There was a headline that I recently saw in my community about somebody getting there, something like he had 70 pounds on him, I think, in an active garden. The pounds were all wrapped up on a table. I don't think there was any money in the house or whatever. It just looked like a dude who had grown 70 pounds in his house.
Right.
And looking at it, it was like, I don't know, June, July 2025. Laws have been on the books since, January 2023, or it was, I think, yeah, 2023 was when it went into effect. So, I mean, hell, who's to say he just didn't have 12 monsters in his basement?
Right.
You know,
Seriously.
who's to say he didn't have like 25-gallon rotating bumper crops like I was just talking about? So
Yeah.
it draws up a big legal gray area. I think, to get to the honest of that case, I think the guy did have some like pharmaceuticals and other things that made the situation a little bit more escalatory than just having cannabis.
Right.
But that's about the only thing I've seen pop up locally. I haven't seen police do anything malicious. I haven't seen any kind of like, things that I would call escalatory from the government in terms of response, to the bill outside of like the Senate. Senate Bill 56 initially tried to lower the plant count from 12 to 6.
Yeah.
Um, but received an incredible amount of pushback, myself included. Went and talked to my representative about it, um, and they ended up taking that provision out. Unfortunately, they folded a whole bunch of provisions to the hemp industry into the bill once Senate Bill 86 that did have to do with the hemp stuff failed. So they ended up getting that stuff snuck through. Um, but, they didn't touch our plant count. And for that, I'm thankful.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad that didn't affect you at all,
Yeah.
in that aspect at least.
Yeah.
All right. The next question is a new question. Do sheep get static cling when they brush up next to each other?
I don't know.
I don't know neither. I was just curious.
I mean, I guess, yeah. I don't know what the static properties of wool are.
All right.
Take two sheep, rub them together, and put a meter on them. See what happens.
Yeah, I guess we need to.
Just put a power meter up each one's butt
Oh, good Lord.
together.
Oh. What was your first cannabis event?
My first cannabis event. I mean, I'd taken myself to Hash Bash a couple times. I've blown glass, like a little, like a small event in Western Michigan. Um, yeah, it was like Hash Bash.
Hash Bash in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yeah, it was like 2022 or something like that. I didn't really get into the big scene like that, but it really quickly kind of turned me off that kind of stuff really quick.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of cannabis shows.
gotcha. Um,
I know that sounds counterintuitive.
no worries.
I see the market growing fast, and I see remediation practices happening quickly, and it's just not my kind of thing. That's not really the level of quality stuff that I buy a lot of. So
Yep, I understand. Who's the first Gromy you met in the community?
um, my buddy Ross, I haven't heard from him in a long time, so he sees this. I hope he's doing all right.
Yeah. Which Gromy from the community are you looking forward to meeting?
I mean anybody that shares a love for the plant, man. That's who I want to meet. I don't. I think that there's definitely some folks out there that are doing it right, and you always like to meet those guys. You always like to have a chance to get some experience and some knowledge from another individual. Um, but yeah, I welcome anyone in my life that shares a love for the plant like I do. Especially organic growers. We out here.
Heck yeah. Um, all right. Which event or location would you like to attend with your fellow Gromy? This could be an event that you've never been to before, so it could be any type of event, really.
Um, I like the seminar based events that are focused on presenting information, good information to people. Um, More so tilted towards like the agricultural aspects of cannabis growing. Not so much the political aspects. I know we can all get wrapped up in that a lot, but I think that the truth unlocking the true power of the cannabis genome really relies and really involves with getting involved in the soil.
Heck yeah.
I'm kind of learning where and how the cannabis plant got here and where we can take it. So those kind of events.
Heck yeah, dude. Uh, if you only had one cultivar of cannabis to consume for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
One cultivar for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, probably one that goes through some phasic changes. Doesn't happen much, but if you could grow one that just like went through some like changes every once in a while, responds to cold a certain way, responds to heat a certain way, and they're all good ways. I don't think I've grown anything like that, obviously. Everything's got its preferences,
Oh yeah.
but let's see if I can put a name on it. I hate to say it, but Pineapple Express,
That's a good one.
I guess. But God, I would hate to just smoke one thing forever.
I feel you. I
That was,
understand.
that was one that got me through in the good old days, I guess.
Oh yeah, for sure. What's your go-to method to consume cannabis?
Dabs.
Dabs. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, especially where we're at right now. Staying with my parents. So dabs are a little bit more under the radar to be able to kind of just dip downstairs and have one real quick and, not bother them with the smell of rolling a whole joint up.
All right, for sure.
So I do prefer flower. But
Yep.
right now, just kind of where we're at, man. They've been so cool about me setting my grow up here, and getting started back up with the things that I love doing. They've been so supportive in that. I just don't want to encroach, you know what I mean? And as it's getting a little more chilly outside, I just find myself sitting on the couch with this thing more often than not.
Yep. Heck yeah. What's a stoner myth that you think is total bullshit?
A stoner myth that I think is total bullshit is the lazy stoner.
All right.
100%.
Yep. Yep. Most definitely. Yeah, that's like the most common answer.
I was gonna say, I bet a lot of people say that, but
Hmm.
that's something that I strive every day to bust down. Don't ever want someone to think that that's the reason that I'm lazy. Lazy because I just got done working, man. I just want to sit down for a little while. You're allowed to be lazy from time to time.
Yep. Absolutely. Is there a cultivar that you're interested in trying to grow that you've never grown?
Probably some of the true original landrace Kush strains would be really cool. You know,
Absolutely.
I think that a lot of what we see, especially the indica side is doctored up a lot. I don't want to say doctored up, but it's hybridized a lot. So, I'd just like to see what true OG Kush leaves look like.
Heck yeah. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
What's your all-time favorite cultivar and why?
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna go back to that Jack's Cleaner strain from TGA Genetics, dude. It was at the time, okay, we were at a time when like Blue Dream was the killer hybrid, you
Right.
know, and you had other strains that were just like, you know, second or third generational hybrids from things like landrace, strains, you know, you were still seeing a lot of Afghan. You were still seeing a lot of Thai. You were still seeing a lot of, Panama floating around the market. But if your guy had a bag of Blue Dream, you're like, oh, hell yeah. And I mean, I want some of that, you know? And my dude, I don't know what lines he had coming in, man, but he always had, more than just the regular. He always had the, what we called, high mids at the time. Oh, they're not just the regular mids; these are good mids.
Right.
But he always had like a quarter pound on him of some really good named stuff. And one time he had some Jack's Cleaner on him, and I smoked that stuff, dude. It was the only time I got rid of an ounce and immediately went back and secured another one against my better financial judgment at the time. Blew a whole paycheck on weed for the week. Whatever, man. It was a time when terps weren't so prevalent. You didn't have, a whole spectrum of terpenes.
Right.
And for a plant to have like such a lemon taste like that, it almost tasted like like furniture polish a little bit, like how furniture polish resonates in the back of your throat a little bit.
Yeah.
It still had earthy pungence to it, like everything that we were looking for. I'm sure, it probably was out of some guy's closet and mixed, with whatever, as far as nutrients go. It was all salt back then. It was all, Fox Farm Newts. So I think Advanced Nutrients was probably the big boys back then.
Right.
So, but yeah, just I can't get over that strain. And they released it about 4 or 5 years ago, and I didn't buy any of the packs, and I regret it. I heavily regret it. So it's just one that I can talk about.
Right. Who are some of your favorite breeders?
Some of my favorite breeders, Sin City Seeds. I will promote his Discord. His Proving Grounds Discord is really cool, dude. He does poker nights often where he gives away free gear, free packs. He does high stakes where I've seen like some Puffcos go. I threw him some pipes and some pendants just to make things fun a little bit. But he's a breeder that I see giving back to the community and being interactive with the community. And that's something that I don't see a lot, in today's big breeder scene.
Right.
So yeah, just can't laud him enough for that. You see people, you see breeders that have their own discords, but obviously he lives in Vegas. He loves poker, makes it fun. Make sure to get plenty of his stuff around. He gives discounts to his Discord folks. So, and all of his gear has just been phenomenal. I have never had a seed not germinate from him, and I've planted about 30 of them so far.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah. That's pretty crazy. It's like a quarterback making all of his passes.
Right.
So,
yeah. Do you have do you have a favorite cannabis related movie and or TV show?
I'm not like crazy into TV or movies.
Okay.
Like I'm gonna be stereotypical and say Half Baked was kind of funny, but it was like an old school movie.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I'm just not that into movies.
It's all good. If you could have a smoke session with anyone dead, who would it be?
Anyone dead? This is probably my grandpa on my dad's side. I started smoking weed after he died, and I know he would have liked to burn a joint with me or two.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, same question, but alive.
I mean, I know that it's kind of easy to say, oh, like, yeah, I want to smoke with this person, I want to smoke with that person, or whatever. But I really just love smoking with people who love smoking weed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It really excites me every time, man. To be in good company of people that share my passion, I think is top tier.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you invest your life into things like that, because now we've got a link. You know what I mean? It's the same way with glass blowing. If I'm out at a bar or whatever and I hear someone talking about blah 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 punty sizes, you're gonna turn over a little bit like, oh, you know more, things that I know. You know what I mean? We should link or whatever. I think that people like to make those little connections, and I like to make those little connections. And when I'm able to make those little connections, it makes me happy.
Oh yeah.
So,
all right. Well, this is the last question of the hot seat. Do you have a favorite cannabis podcast, and who is it?
for a while, I was listening to Jordan Rivers' Growcast.
Mm-hmm.
He's another guy that I see active in the Discord space. I unfortunately just had to drop my Patreon subscription with him, but he does a really good job of getting basic information out there for growers. Having people on there like Dr. Coco is really good about breaking things down for like cocoa growers. I was listening to the Teaming with Microbes podcast with Jeff Lowenfels and the Caffeinated Gardener.
Yep.
That's a good one. If you haven't read the Teaming with Microbes book, it's a cheap one, and I recommend everyone to have a leaf through of it, man. It's just good soil science.
Yeah, it's a very interesting book.
Yep. So, yeah. Then the Paranoid Grower. It's got a good one. We're doing a pretty hot shot right now.
That's right.
So,
heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my next segment on this podcast is Thank a Grow Me. Each week, I thank a Grow Me in the community. Also, I would encourage you to thank a Grow Me as well, or multiple Grow Me's. Each week, I talk about hard times. There's hard times in life. Family members getting sick, you're having to take care of them. That's added stress on you, and yeah, you feel like your world's closing in because you got too much going on in your life. And it's nice to be able to hear a thank you from a Gromy or for a friend, and everybody listening in. Reach out and thank somebody. You just talk to them. If they needed a conversation, it's nice to have that little conversation. It gets you out of that headspace that you're stuck in, and you feel better, and
Yeah.
it always makes you feel better. So, Bob, since you're here, I'm gonna go ahead and thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
First, I'm going to thank you for meeting up with me at Flams. I know it was like a last minute thing. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate the conversation that we had. It was just really a really great time being able to hang out with you on such short notice, and that and meeting your fiance as well. And but also, I'd like to thank you for creating such amazing art. Like, not just I got to experience your art that first day that I met you, but then as I've been meeting up with Flam over time, he showed me a couple pieces, and then I've seen your stuff on Instagram, and it's really cool being able to see all that art. You're truly an inspiration on definitely wanting me to start
Damn. Thanks.
glass blowing. So I truly appreciate that.
Thank you, man. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank Flam. He's so active in the community, man. It is his life's mission to further this plant. You can
Hmm.
tell that. You can tell for every conversation, every interaction. So big thank you to Flam. Yeah, dude. Big thanks to all the folks on my Ohio Weed Nerds Discord to keep that thing going, man. Like I started my own little thing. It was just a few like local Central Ohioans or whatever, and it still is. By no means do I plug for it, but there's a few people that have steady posted. There's a few that we've seen. Learn to grow through the power of community collaboration. We love to see that.
Oh yeah.
Uh, my friend Rich Thug Speedman is his handle. He handles a lot of the more technical things on that side of it, and he's a person that I kind of taught to grow. So, and I think it's so cool when you can teach someone how to do something like that, and then you see them go and take it further. You know, like I taught him how to grow soil. He went and taught himself how to make that living soil. I just think that's pretty nifty.
Heck yeah. It's awesome, man. Well, I'm gonna also say thank you to Max Torque. He's actually going to be coming over here today. I know it's like an early thank you, but we've been making plans on meeting up for the last week and a half, and
Oh, good,
and I luckily it was off work today, so it worked out where I can do a podcast with you and meet up with him. So it's kind of a win-win today for me.
good.
So, but yeah, the next segment on the podcast is upcoming events. Do you have any upcoming events that you're looking forward to going to, whether it's music or even glass blowing related?
I've got a couple craft shows that I'm going to be at soon. Christmas in the Village, December 5th, either the 5th and 6th or the 6th and 7th. It's over in Plymouth, Ohio.
Hmm.
It's the first weekend in December. That's a nice outdoor market. I love doing it. The girl who throws it does a really good job, works very hard for it. She has like things for kids to do, like ice skating rings, free merry-go-round. So that's just cool to see. Brings a lot of people in. There's live entertainment. Um, and I pretty much wrapped up my festival tour for the season, which is cool. That brings a chance to kind of click it over into a different gear, do some kind of R&D work, make some stuff that I can take a little more time on, that I don't need to like pump a bunch of stuff out, but also kind of explore like head shops, start getting my name out a little bit, seeing if I can get a couple wholesale orders done. So
Heck yeah,
it's a nice little time to shift gears.
heck yeah, man. Well, the next event that I got coming up is I know I've said it on the last couple podcasts, but it's the Last Murder by Death concert in Louisville, Kentucky. There's a few people from the community, Jay Saw, Diabetic, that are going with me.
Okay.
And we're meeting up with Chaos Goblin. He's part of the community as well. He's just going to come over and hang out with us. At some point, we're going to basically just, swap some cannabis and stories and have a good time. So,
Heck yeah.
yeah. That's the way we want to do it. But this is the end of the podcast. I was going to go ahead and give you the opportunity to give out your socials where everybody can find you.
Oh yeah. The social right there, Ezachuel. If you go to Instagram, you type that in. That's my glass. If you care to see what my cannabis garden looks like, that would be your mom's in my tent. So that's not posted here, but I'm sure you can spell it out.
Right.
But the big one's right there. If you just go to Instagram, you follow Ezachuel. That's where I post most of my stuff at.
Thank you. And they can find you on Discord as well.
Yep. Ezachuel on Discord. Yeah, I'm pretty present. I get a lot of notifications on my phone daily, but I generally look at them.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, everyone listening and watching, thank you. I hope you're out there having a wonderful time. Thank you, Ezachuel, for joining the show.
Hey, thank you.
All
I
right.
appreciate you having me on.
Hell yeah, dude. Thank you.